Podcast.
Haunting Halloween and horror.
Interviews with haunting gurus.
Here is part 2 of Baker's interview with production designer and makeup special effects guru, Shawn Sieger. Now, to keep things on the cheap, do you make your own prosthetic appliances?
Not all of them, but yeah. So at the Bates Motel and Haunted Hayride, we make all of our own prosthetic adhesive transfers. They're all made in-house. We do make a few full prosthetics. Either we've done it in the past in foam latex. We've done a couple in silicone. We don't use them as often because they're more expensive. But the prosthetic adhesive transfers, if you learn the system of doing that, Christian Tinsley developed that process for the movie The Passion of the Christ. They had this scene where they did the whole scourging. So was it Jim Caviezel? I hope I'm saying his name right. Playing Jesus, had to have his whole body covered in wounds from that point on in the movie. So they had to develop a way of putting all those wounds on very quickly. And Christian Tinsley came up with this method of making prosthetic adhesive transfers, which is basically he took prosthetic adhesive, Prozaid, thickened it. So we would thicken it with Cavasil, put it into a silicone mold, and then he would freeze it to set it. And then have it on acetate paper, switch it over to tattoo transfer paper, put a little glue down, and be able to put it on with warm water very quickly. So now it just goes on like a tattoo transfer. Amazing process, goes on really quick. So in the haunted house industry, where we're trying to get people ready quickly, the speed on that is amazing. And I think we had figured it out. The mold's the most expensive part because it's silicone and the labor. But so we figured it out that I think for the first 3 years, like if you break down the cost of what it costs you to sculpt it, mold it, and for the supplies, it was like close to $3 a prosthetic for the first 3 years that we have a prosthetic. And then the mold and the labor of sculpting and the labor of making the molds has been paid off. And then every year after that, you're just paying for the supplies of filling it and the labor of filling it and applying it. So it drops drastically after that to less than half. So it becomes like less than $1.50 per prosthetic after the first 3 years. And we've had molds at the Bates Motel for going on 10 years now. Oh. So that became like a cheap way for us to put prosthetics on people at the haunt in comparison to foam latex. But they're one-time use, so they get thrown out every night too. So you have to dedicate the time, the labor, to have somebody making prosthetics. That's 4 hours of labor per night times, if you're going to be open, 30 nights, then it's 120 hours that we need to dedicate to making prosthetics.
How many actors can you typically do on a given night?
Me personally?
Yeah.
So it depends. So on a given night, if we're fully staffed with makeup artists, I'm required to do 5 to 7. On a night where we're short, I've done 15, like as my norm on a night when we're short. And that's in 2 hours.
So is that your window? You got 2 hours to get everyone done?
Yeah, you roughly have 2 hours. Like basically, our call time as a makeup artist is 4:30, and you set yourself up for the first half an hour, and then the first attractions call time is 5 o'clock, and everything should be open by 7. So you have from 5 to 7 to get all the makeups done. If there's a couple of people who straggle in early and are willing to sit in your makeup chair, you might get a 15-minute head start, if you get yourself set up quickly, but basically you have 2 hours. So, like I said, my norm is 5 to 7. That's my requirement. And then on nights when we're short, I'll do as many as 15. And there have been times, like I said, especially when I first started, when it was just 4 of us there, I have done 20 in 2 hours.
Wow.
And that's that's not the makeup you're most proud of, but I've done it. And it's good enough to open. You know what I mean? It's not lacking. It's just not all the detail you want. It's not all the prosthetics you want. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like one thing I tell everyone that they need to learn is you have to know how to do a 5-minute zombie. You need to get that and it's like, it's learning certain techniques that you can fill a face, it looks good, and it's done in 5 minutes.
Time management is probably crucial. How much time, like on a given, like if you have a normal night, you're not trying to get 20 people done, how much time can you pretty much budget per person?
20 minutes.
So 20 minutes, they got to be done.
Yep.
And that's if you have 5 to 7 people, roughly.
Yeah, 20 minutes will get me 6 in 2 hours.
All right.
With no time in between. So that's everything. That's from hi, how you doing? Have a seat to get out of my chair and I need somebody else to sit down, So 20 minutes from, nothing in between will get you 6 in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So 15 to 20 minutes, will get you your 7 to 8,
Yeah. Now, Johnny was talking about something to me. We were chatting, and he said something about the hands and teeth. He goes, "Yeah, you got to, hands and teeth is also something that you can't neglect." And so you also have to do the teeth, the hands, or is there anything on the actors to do themselves?
There used to be looser laws around contact lenses. So makeup artists could give contact lenses to people, and it's not a thing anymore. So any of our actors who are like into it and go get their own contact lenses, eyes and teeth, like if you have the most basic makeup, but if you have eyes that pop and teeth, it's like it takes away the humanity, So any of the actors who get their own contact lenses, that's amazing to me, and it makes everything that much better. And we'll use so we get teeth makeup from Ben Nye and Fantastic Teeth, and then we also invest in a number of prosthetic teeth, like their resin that you can form fit to your teeth from Dental Distortions. And they have a great product. So some of our characters have fake teeth from Dental Distortions, and then we try to paint everybody's teeth with Ben Nye and Fantastic Teeth products.
Yeah, because you can't have regular teeth in a zombie or any other type of creature. Like everything kind of has to make sense. Like you can't, because that will take people out of it. They'll say, "Oh, he's freaking perfect teeth," and the eyes. I'm probably like, I wish I've tried to do. I tried to do contacts one time, and I did get them. It took me like an hour to try to get contacts in one time because I don't have contacts. I don't wear glasses, so I've never had to try to put contacts in myself, and it was brutal. I just kept closing my eye. I couldn't keep my eye opened enough. I was like pinching, trying to pull my eyelids open to try to get the damn thing in there. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Same. Yeah. I'm not experienced with it, and I have astigmatism, and just in general, I have small eye openings. It's just genetic, from my mom's side. And I told my eye doctor that I was putting in theatrical contacts, and he's like, "You are?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." And it probably took me close to 3 hours the first time, like to get them in. And my brother's way better at it, and he's even better at putting them in on my eye than I am. But I think he wears them as an actor way more often than I do, so I think he just has the knack. He's gotten used to it.
Yeah, I also bought these like super cheap, like bargain basement Chinese discount, and my eyes were burning the whole night, man. It was brutal.
if you've never worn them before, it takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
If you actually go to an eye doctor, because like years and years ago you had to go to an eye doctor, and that's kind of coming back now. But with things online now, though, you can find ways around it. But you used to have to go to an eye doctor to get them, 25 years ago. And they would make you do it in the office before you could leave with the contacts. And you'd sit there for like an hour or two putting them in. And yeah, but they also recommend that if you can, first time you wear them, don't wear them the night you're going to wear them. Wear them for 5 minutes and take them out. Next time you wear them, push it to 10, and until your eyes get used to it. Because sometimes the burning's not the cheap contact lens. Sometimes the burning's just your eye's not used to having something in it that long.
Yeah, it's like rejecting the contact lens. It's like it's not supposed to be there. Get this thing out of my freaking... Now, you've been playing around with some colors. I was looking through your portfolio on Facebook, and looks like you were kind of going. You were playing around with Mike, I guess, this season. And tell everybody about this little story of what you were doing with the colors this season.
Specifically Mike. Well, just in general. Let me start with this. Just in general, I was just really having fun with some of the colors, like. I think most artists. So at a place like the Bates Motel, I have to do X amount of makeups. I have to get them done. They have to get done quickly, and you want to always still be pushing yourself, and you always still want to be learning something, right? So I'm never going to try to do something out of left field, all on one face, until I know I can accomplish what I'm trying to do. But let's say I want to learn new ways of doing a brow shape. I'm going to make sure I do the rest of the face the way I normally do. So if I make a mistake, it's not a big mistake. It's a small mistake, and they can still go out and act that night. You know what I mean? So some years I might be like, oh, I'm just going to play with eye shapes. Some years I might be like, oh, I'm just going to play with brow shapes. Some years I might be like, I'm going to play with veins and wrinkles. So like I always want to keep learning and growing as an artist. So I give myself tasks each year. Just to keep that going. And this year, I was like, oh, I'm just going to play with color. So I typically do... Mike is one of our characters who has a demon look, and he's in the cemetery. And I typically kind of give him like a purple shadows look, and it gives him like kind of like a otherworldly feel, a little bit like royal, a little bit ethereal, And... there's a vampire near him, one of our actors, Rick, and I did him up in these blues. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Salem's Lot. Now, this makeup I did wasn't based on that, but the vampire is just very blue, and I just always liked that. And I like
the made for TV.
Yeah,
with David Soul. Yeah. Oh yeah, the original.
Yeah, the old 1979 Salem's Lot. Yeah. So the vampire is very blue, and I just always really dug that. So I don't know why this vampire didn't look anything like that, but I want to incorporate blues in my vampires. So I did him in blues. So one day Mike comes to me and he's like, he's like, I really like that blue you did on Rick. He said, could you do me up in blue? So I'm like, sure. So I did him up in blue instead of purple. And I like to take photographs of my works. And now I have pictures of him, tons of pictures of him in purple. Different types of purple, some warmer purple, some cooler purples, so tons of purples. And then I did this blue one. Then we had a night at the Bates where we had a couple Eagles players and a couple Eagle cheerleaders, which is Philadelphia, our local football team. So Mike says, "Do you think the demon character would look good in green?" He goes, "I would like to wear green while the Eagles are here." So I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So now we're halfway through the rainbow. So I'm like, I don't want to tell Mike, but also I want to try to get the rest of the colors in. So for the rest of the season, I made it my goal to get the orange, the yellow, and the red. So then it was like, okay, well, I did this other demon nun up in these yellows and browns, and it gave because nuns have... The costume is very spiritual and has like a ethereal kind of feel, So I wanted to give her more of that earthy I went to get the juxtapose that. I want to give her like an earthier feel, so I went with yellows and browns. So I mentioned it to Mike, and I'm like, "Would you mind if I tried that on you?" So he's like, "No, that's great." So I did that. So now I'm just down to I need to get orange and red. So then I'm like, I know I can talk him into red. So I'm like, oh, we should just go all the way in and lean into being a devil, and let's just do a full red makeup. So he's like, oh yeah, let's do it. So now I got the red, but I couldn't think of a way to talk him into the orange. So I talked with some of the other makeup artists. So we, quote unquote, had a makeup contest where we were trying to incorporate orange into our looks. So not only did I get Mike in orange, but I like put orange on like 4 other characters as well. Just to like have fun that night with the colors, you know. So now I had the full rainbow. And then one of our other makeup artists, Chrissy, put all that in I think Photoshop, or she had an app, and she took slices out of each photo and we made a rainbow face for him. And we hung it up.
Cool.
And we hung it up in the makeup shed.
Yeah, I guess you got to have fun, and you got to, you just got to do some different stuff to make it interesting. So it's, you're not just grinding through doing, trying to get all the makeups done. You got to have a little bit of fun in the process while you're, I mean, what the hell? I mean, this is all about having some fun. I mean, it's work. I get it, but you're creative and you want to push yourself and all of that. So,
talking about the prosthetics earlier, at the end of the season, sometimes we have a lot of leftover prosthetics because we don't always have like dictated looks. Like when I ran the makeup shed with my brother Rob, we always wanted every makeup artist to be able to put their own staple, like their own, style and what their interests are and how they perceive something. We always want to let our artists express themselves. And Gianna taking over the makeup department is kind of similar in theory. There's not so much dictated, like there might be like some dictated things like, oh, the zombies at Zombie Mall might need prosthetics. These characters at the, medieval scene, they're all diseased. So give them some prosthetics with boils or give them a sickly look. Or you might do something out of the kit using like 3rd degree silicone or cotton and latex. But anyway, because it's not dictated, we have a lot of prosthetics left over sometimes at the end of the season or under amount. But usually we try to make sure there's enough for everybody. So there's usually a few extras. So we had a contest the one year about who could use the most prosthetics. And I did win that one, by the way. But I think it was like 7 or 8 on Johnny Thunder.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, go for it.
So, yeah, no, he's always game. He's always fun to experiment and have a good time with the character.
The funny thing is that when I had a booth, this was when I first started the podcast. I don't know, whatever it was, 15 years ago. We were at the original East Coast Hunters convention. The Bates crew came through, and I think you guys and I always laugh. I go, yeah, they just saw the big, ugly, big, bald, ugly, bald guy, and they were like, hey, you got to come to work for us at the Bates Motel. And you guys came by the booth, and I guess, he did open up and say, hey, I've been coming to you, to the Bates Motel for like 10 years. And I think he said you were his favorite actor. You were doing some acting at the time as well, over the years. So he said you were his favorite actor, and he was just gushing about how he loved the Bates. And I guess you guys were like, hey, why don't you come down and do an audition? Why don't you come in and come down to the Bates? Johnny
Thunder is so nice. So he came over to me. I was wearing my Bates Motel gear. And he started talking to me about having been a customer there, and he always had such a good time there. But then he's also telling me that he's doing this podcast, and he's also telling me about how he likes to do his house up for Halloween, and he's always wanted to do this, right? But so I'm like, then you should do it. You should come out, And then he was telling me about the one actor. He didn't. I don't think he knew it was me, but he started describing my character to me. I was like, that's totally me.
Yeah, I'm your favorite, man. That's me.
But it was really touching though, because he's such a gracious person.
He's a gentle giant.
Yeah. And like everything he says is from the heart, and he's so genuine. You know?
And
so that's why I don't always know how to take his insults.
Yeah. So and then he went down and I think you did his audition, right?
Yeah, back then, my brother and I and another actor, Kaz, were doing the auditions. I think it's Garrett does the auditions now, but back when he joined us, that was before. I think that was before we were doing the prosthetic. So my role over the years had I worked with actors. I used to do the auditions. My brother and I did that, but as we got busier and busier, some of that had to get broken up. It wasn't enough. It was like one person couldn't do it all as the place grew, and as the makeup department grew, and as the art department grew, and as the actors were growing, it's like one person couldn't. You know what I mean? So some of them jobs had to get delegated to other people, and Garrett Sapsis is our actor manager, and I think he does the auditions and all that now. But back then, I think I auditioned Johnny Thunder.
So now your career has kind of evolved because now you're working in the film industry. And right?
I don't know that that's a step up. I think the whole.
Look, I'm trying to make it sound good, all right?
Yeah, look, in all honesty, I love working in film, and I love what I get to do there, and I love that every job's different, so you always have new challenges and new things to tackle. But I can't. Haunts is where my heart's at, and I love horror, and I love the haunted attraction industry. It's just not a year-round gig, So I found myself having. As I had to diversify and do other things, and my I guess for lack of a better word, my career was growing in the movie industry, so I am concentrating on that more at the moment. But yeah, no, I love haunts. I don't ever want to give it up, and I don't know that one's a step up or a growth.
It's like a lot of people I talked to. Basically, yes, you have to have your hands in a little bit of everything to as if you're in this business. If you're going to be doing this as a career, you kind of have to be freelancing yourself out to other haunts to build scenes and whatever, or you have to be you kind of have to be doing a lot to kind of fill that downtime and to bring in money off season and things like that. I mean, though, once again, for somebody like you're doing a lot of work for the Bates off season, but it's still somewhat seasonal, right?
Yeah, it's not year round for me. As an artist and makeup artist, even the Bates Motel, they have to diversify because the haunt's not year round, right? So they have the farm, and they grow Christmas trees and do cut your own Christmas trees. You can check out Arisafa Farms if you're in the area, and you can get your own Christmas tree there. They also have the Bates Motel escape rooms. They're over in Westchester. They also have a laser tag arena. That's with the Bates Motel escape rooms in Westchester. Then they also have travel ones. They have trailers that have axe throwing, laser tag, escape rooms, so where they can take it to your event, to a carnival, and all that. So it's they have to diversify, and so do I. While I'm part of the building of escape rooms, I'm part of the building of a laser tag arena, I'm not part of the running of them or the day to day. You know what I mean? So that's for me, it's I have the work while we're building. I don't have the work while it's running. That's a different job. That's not what I do. So I have to find, I do more gig work. So I go build something, or I go make a movie, or for the Bates Motel, we build stuff every year, and do makeup every year, but it's not all year. And do you mind if I plug a few things? Yeah, plug away. So some of the movies I've worked on, you can actually go see right now on Amazon. I believe on Amazon. Some of these might be on Amazon Prime. Some of these might be, or definitely are on Tubi. But The Retaliators is out. That was so much fun to do. It's a how do I describe this? It's a crazy action zombie-esque, doesn't take itself seriously action horror movie. Very throwback to like the 80s kind of feel, or Evil Dead, or Army of Darkness specifically. Like definitely has that kind of feel to it. It's made by Better Noise Pictures, which their first movie was The Dirt, about Motley Crue, and then this was their second movie, The Retaliators, and that's out. And I was co-production designer on that. I got to build so many breakaway effects. We got to do a lot of crazy, cool stuff for that movie, and it's got a lot of. We got to do a bunch of music videos that went with it, because it has, with it being by Better Noise, they had a bunch of cameos and parts by Papa Roach, Five Finger Death Punch, Eva Under Fire. Who else? Oh, the Mongolian throat singing band, The Who, spelled H-U. They were amazing. And we did some of their videos and stuff. So, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. That's out.
Right.
Also on Amazon Prime is a kids movie called Sparkle, A Unicorn Tale, where I got to make a unicorn. So I got to design how to do a makeup on a horse that would hold up. I got to sculpt the horns, mold them, cast them, there's a unicorn horn necklace that had to match one of the horns, so I made the necklace as well. And I wasn't on the day-to-day to that movie, but I got to design the process and the pieces and then teach somebody else how to do it, and then they were on the day-to-day. But that's out. And A Party to Die For is a movie that was made for Tubi. I think it's on Tubi and on Lifetime, their streaming channels. That's out. And just came out is a movie called Finding Christmas. That's Philly-born Productions, Mike Walsh and Bridget Smith. And they're amazing to work with, and that movie's out now. It just came out for the Christmas season, but that's out, and you can find that as well. Sorry, so just wanted to throw all that out there.
Awesome. And you're also working on the Amityville Barbie movie, correct?
I am. So that process, they're shooting it in pieces, which I've done on other movies as well. The Finding Christmas was shot in pieces. Sometimes it's hard to get all your actors in one place at one time on some of these, I don't want to say low budget movies, but less than $10 million movies, right? Yeah. So like, it's not on the higher end, but it's not, I don't want to say low budget either, but anyway, they sometimes run into scheduling problems and different things, so they shoot things in pieces. But yeah, so I got to work with them on, so far, one segment of their shooting and build a bunch of breakaway boxes, and generally just doing art department and helping them with getting their sets and stuff. Now, we'll see how the rest of that movie goes. I hope I'm back on it. I would love to, see it all the way through. But yeah, that's Johnny Thunder is going to be in that one.
Yeah, he's going to be Fred, I think.
I'm not sure.
It's Fred. Yeah. Does it have a due date roughly on when that's coming out?
Honestly, I don't know. That's
okay.
Unfortunately, like I'm art department. I hear that stuff. Like I heard that Finding Christmas was out after it came out.
Yeah.
Now I got invited to the screenings and stuff, which happened before, so like that's always nice and fun. But I didn't know when the distributor was actually releasing it, because like I don't even know that they knew. Like the people you make the movie for are the producers, right? But then they sometimes, if a distributor, like A Party to Die For, we did for Tubi, so the distributor is already attached. But like the Retaliators, we did for Better Noise Films. They have to get a distributor. So the distributor is kind of going to dictate when it comes out. So Finding Christmas, the same thing. I did that for Philly-born films. But once they find a distributor, they're going to dictate when the movie comes out. So.
Got it.
So I don't know how Amityville Barbie, I don't know who the distributor is on that or if they have that in place yet.
as we start to wrap things up, did you win an award from the Horror Hound Film Festival?
I did.
Oh, all right, tell us about your major award.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a movie I forgot to mention, and I really should have because I'm really proud of that movie. I'm going to mispronounce the name of the movie, though. It's a Latin word, Imperatus, and that's also out on Amazon Prime. And it was written and directed by Michael Urinko. And that movie was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And Michael Urinko really took the time to, like, we built some amazing sets. Like, you would think that we're on actual locations for some of these things that we built. And, like, there was really time spent on art department for that, and it really came out nice. And I won an award for production designing the film.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that
up. All right. So where can people find you on the interweb, Shawn?
So I don't know if this is still true or not, but Johnny Thunder had brought to my attention years ago, I think it was him, somebody did, that if you Googled my name, his face would come up because he does line entertainment at the Bates Motel. And he's always so gracious. Like, he would always make sure to tag me as his makeup artist. So I'm tagged on all these pictures of Johnny Thunder. So for a long time, if I looked myself up and Googled it, I would see his face. But I feel like now that I have more movies out there, that it might be 50-50. That's my face and his face. But I'm on Instagram under my own name, Shawn Sieger, ShawnSieger. I'm also on Facebook under my name. Like, I don't have an alias on these things. That's just me. I'm out there.
Like Johnny Thunder.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that's not his real name?
Shocker. Yeah.
So I shouldn't be calling his wife Mrs. Thunder?
I do. I still call him by his. I don't call him by his real name.
JT and Mrs. JT.
Yeah, that's it. Or Miss Bubba. He's been Bubba for so many years at the Bates.
Yeah, his character's name.
Awesome. All right, so you covered all the socials.
Yeah, I'm really only on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I want to say I started a Threads, but I've never actually been on it.
I don't really do much of the other things either. So
so it's like I know, like, for my profession, I probably need to get myself on the other platforms, but I really haven't dedicated any time to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I'm not sure about Transworld this year because Johnny Thunder said he was going, and then he just hit me up last week. He's like, "Oh, we've got the dog needs to, an operation or some other nonsense," and I'm like, "Oh, you're not okay? All right. I thought we were going to go this year, but okay, no worries." So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Things might change at the last minute, but
me either, honestly. I was supposed. I don't know yet. Because I was supposed to be on a movie right now that got pushed. So now it looks like we're going to be filming in March, which means I won't be available to go to Transworld.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if not, hopefully I'll at least see you at the East Coast Hunters Convention, which is in April. If you go, I don't know if you plan on going to that one.
Yeah, I'm like hit or miss on East Coast. I don't always make it to Transworld either, but that's the one I usually get to. Yeah. But then sometimes I wind up on projects that I can't go. And East Coast similarly, and I'm like hit or miss on that one. Yeah. But I hope I get to see you guys.
Yeah, hopefully, and we'll see how things pan out, depending on your schedule and if the last minute Johnny Thunder says, "All right, you know what, I want to go." Yeah. Once everybody starts gearing up and everybody's posting online about going, like a couple of days before, like even I've done this a couple of years where I was like, I'm not going this year, and then like a day or two before, I'm like, damn it, I want to go, and I start looking at tickets and start looking, let's see if I can get a flight. This year, I'm going to play it by ear. I'm not saying I'm not going. I'm going to do the East Coast Haunters Convention, and I'm going to do the Midwest Haunters Convention for sure, because I want to get a booth there to promote the podcast and all of that nonsense. And I just think it'd be just kind of cooler to have a booth than to just wander around. And I might try to do a seminar there too. That's my plan. I was hoping to do a seminar at each, get a booth at each, and make more of a be more involved, you know what I mean, than just showing up and walking around. Kind of.
Did I ask what kind of seminar you're planning on doing?
I was thinking about doing one making monsters, making massive. I don't know how massive I like to make big creatures for the yard, and I make them out of all chicken wire. I do chicken wire. I'm getting into now doing a lot more, like trying to do bigger styrofoam ones. PVC armatures, wood armatures, shrink wrap, spray foam. I try to build mostly stuff that you can just buy at Home Depot, I've gotten into a lot of the smooth on products, so I've gotten heavy into the freeform air for sculpting and I make a lot of one-offs. I'm not doing molding and casting though. I would like to get more into that, and I keep telling myself I have to get into get some clay and just start getting at it. And I might within the next couple of months really just grab some clay and just start screwing around, because I really want to get into that. I'd make my stuff as one-off pieces, but I'd like to do stuff that I could replicate, that I could duplicate.
Yeah, so I've seen your pictures and your stuff looks great, dude. And the only thing I could tell you about the mold stuff, even at the haunt, if we need one of something, we try to find a place to buy it. It's like when we need 10 of something, then it starts to get cheaper to make it, for making a mold, not doing one-offs necessarily, but when you have to make a mold and cast it, it's like you're dedicating a lot of time to the sculpt and mold. So if you only need one, if you really want to do it, it's worth it personally, but when you're looking at dollars and cents, it's like, when you need 10 of them, it makes total sense.
I've just gotten to a point, because this is a home haunt, that's the difference between the home haunt and the pro haunt. I'm doing this because I want to build it myself. That's the thing is I just want everything in my haunt now to be, not everything, but 95% of what I have in my haunt to be stuff that I made, that I made personally, and this is mine. You're not going to find this anywhere else. You're only going to see it in my haunt. And the process of building and trying to figure out how I'm going to build it. I love the process of just the whole planning process and getting things ready and then buying the materials. I love all the different steps to it. I used to be I just want it done. And now I'm I enjoy the journey in building something. And, and I tried to start things earlier than I'm going to need them, because, I do want to enjoy the process and take my time, try to get it right. And I'm learning stuff all the freaking time, but I was just thinking about maybe doing a class on, all the different types of materials that I use and the different props that I've made, and people hopefully can get something out of it. And I'm open to do other things. I'm open for other topics if that thing's going to be taken, or you don't want to, you don't think that's going to fit for this year. Great. I can do something else. Just let me know what else I can do, and I could probably figure out something else I can do one on. But
that's very cool.
Anyway, that's just what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's very cool. Can I say something in response to what you just said?
Yeah, sure.
No, just because I felt the same way. When we talked about getting our starts, and you get that scare and you're chasing that scream, right? And I found along the way, I like doing the artwork more. For me, the payoff became not just even seeing the finished product of the artwork or the set or the prop I made, but the process of doing it. I love sitting and sculpting. I love sitting and doing makeup. And it's so my brother and I think he's the chasing the scream guy. He loves doing art, and he loves sculpting, loves molding, loves casting, loves painting, loves building a set, painting a set, doing the makeup, getting the people out there, making a costume. But he does it all to get that scream. Where if I don't get the scream, if I'm still behind the scenes sculpting the next thing and I'm not acting, it doesn't bother me. I'm enjoying the process of the art. Whereas I think my brother would be disappointed if he wasn't the one getting a scream.
Yeah. I still have to get in full costume, go out in the yard, go out in my driveway, set up a little scene where I can sit in or whatever, and lure kids in to get the candy so I can scare them. I still need to set off a couple of pneumatics. I still need to have, I still need to just like jump up and get a good startle. I still need that. That's not Halloween if I don't get that. So that is still, I get where he's coming from because I still need that, but I do like the whole build up to just getting the, building a new creature, building a few new things, whatever, tombstones, this, that, the other thing, try to create a little scene in the yard, that process. But at the end of the day, I still need to get dressed up and get a scare at the end of it. I still have to. I gotta.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. I took up enough of your time.
It's been a pleasure.
It's a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll bump into you some point in the next year at one of these cons or something. And I'm looking forward to the Amityville Barbie movie. So hopefully that will be out within the next year or so.
Yeah, hopefully. Things tend to take, I'd say 2 years. Cause I don't know how long they're going to take to film it, but you got to give them time to film it, time to edit it, time to get any post-production After Effects, time to get it scored, and then they still have to get a distributor and get it out,
Yeah. So it's probably going to be a couple of years because they just started filming it pretty much, right?
So I would guess 2, but you never know.
All right, I'll relax then. I'll take it. I'll chill and just wait for it to come out.
Like I said, that's just my personal experience. They might get it out quicker. You never know.
Absolutely. All right, Shawn. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me on. This has been fun.
Please follow the podcast. Give us a 5-star review. Stalk us on social media. Links in the description. And visit our blog page for more show info at huntcastpodcast.net/blog. Until next time, stay scary.
It's still running. Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time. You've got to... Please, stop it. Stop it now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.